Set for the faceoff in the crunch zone. Back to the point. Here's a shot deflected to the near side. Pellerin tries to center. Can't do it. He's bodied by Philippek for the crunch. Now Syracuse is able to break out. Tremblay on the left side. Tremblay tries to center in front of Tully. It's deflected away. Stoyanov can't handle it. And here comes Ralston. 2-on-1 for Albany. Ralston in front. And a ball. The puck gets by Vukovic. And Syracuse has it the other way. Dunham drops it off to Dean, and Dean will work out from behind the net. Out to center ice. Crunch control. Stevens on the near side. Puts it on goal. Kicked out by Dunham, and we've got a whistle. And a slash call.
We got our first penalty of the season, Doug, a slashing call, and I think it's against the River Rats. Certainly excites the Syracuse crowd.
Armstrong, 2 minutes for slashing. There's a look at it in the deep slot. Just before the shot put on goal, that Dunham kicked out. So the Crunch come with their power play unit.
This is going to be good to see because they've got some good young players here. O'Coin out there with Stevens.
Mesnikov and Kuznetsov. Out to the point. O'Coin plays it to the far boards. Stevens dumps it down low.
2 minutes for slashing at 3:30 of the first period.
O'Coin at the point. Slap shot. Deflected just wide by Stevens. Kuznetsov behind the net. Controls for the Crunch. Out to O'Coin. O'Coin lets another one go. Wrist shot. Deflected in front by Kuznetsov, but Dunham makes the stop. River Rats can't clear. Here's a shot. Score!
All right.
Lonnie Bahanas.
Tremendous shot. Tremendous slap shot right from the...
Watch the shot by Bahanas. Slap shot just over the left shoulder of Mike Dunham and into the net, and the Crunch lead 1-0. That's a power play goal.
That power play was well played right from the beginning. They threw the puck around like they're supposed to. Everyone playing their position. That was impressive for this early. Might mention this new sound system in the Warm Oil. Pretty powerful.
Now Dubé on the face-off. Puck shot into the Albany zone by Mark Watton. Played behind the net. Now to the near side. In front, Jackson couldn't get a stick on it. Now Kessa controls behind the net. And the River Rats try to clear. And they're having trouble clearing their own zone from the swarming Syracuse team. Jackson at center ice. Tries to drop it off. Kessa has it. He wheels at center ice. Around Ruchti, over the blue line, bumps into Dubé, and there's a whistle and an offsides call. Now Ruchti and Walker getting into it on the near side, but it's broken up. .403 of the first period. Lonnie Bahanas. First goal for the Syracuse Crunch.
I think these Albany River Rats are seeing a little different team than the one that we fielded here on Sunday night. I think the Crunch were tired after the Binghamton Road game when they came back here to play the River Rats. A different team tonight.
Breland and Dubé on the face-off, and the puck goes into the Albany zone. Dunham stops, drops for Kevin Dean. Forecheck by Dubé. Dean works it out to center ice. Watton will catch up to it in the Syracuse zone. Gets it out to center ice where Dean collects and shoots it back in. Walker to center ice. Breland pokes it away. Now Dane Jackson, he loses it. Dean circles, and dumps it over. Helmer tries to play it into the zone. Now does. Behind Mike Fountain. Breland dumps it back in. Armstrong controls the Breland. Broken up by Watton, who was checking Breland on the side of the crease. Now Dubé breaks out. Yannick Dubé to center ice. Dumps it into the Albany zone. And there's a line change for the Crunch. Tully to Girard to Loney. Loney gets it into Tremblay. Tremblay in front. Girard couldn't get a stick on it. Philippek dumped into the slot, and Pellerin has it now for Albany. Girard intercepts at center ice. Girard 2-on-2. Girard checked brilliantly by Hulse, and the puck goes into the corner. Big hit by Loney. At the point, shot broken up in front, and Pellerin breaks out now for Albany. Shot wide. Fountain got the blocker on it. Pellerin goes down on the ice. Puck right in front. Slips through the crease. Pellerin near boards. McAlpine shoots. Stop. Pellerin rebound. Broken up. Girard goes for it. Pellerin hits the ice. Ralston shot. And that's broken up by Philippek. But Albany pinning the Crunch in the zone. Right in front. Knocked away by Fountain. And cleared beyond the blue line.
Crunch got to get a line change here, Doug. Here we go. Line change now.
McAlpine in the zone. Broken up by Kuznetsov. Came beyond the line. Delayed offsides. Here come the Crunch. Kuznetsov near side. Pass in the slot to Stevens. Broken up. And here come the River Rats. McAlpine loses possession. Ruckty pushes the puck with his hand. Bahanas to Dubé in the zone. Dubé was knocked off his skates. Puck cleared out to the blue line. Here's a shot in front, just wide. Crunch have it in front. Shot. Stevens stopped by Dunham. O'Coin keeps it inside the zone. Ruckty got a shin on it, and it deflects out to center ice, and now we have a tie-up. 12:06 remaining in the first period. 1-0 Syracuse Crunch.
Come on, I want to show you something. It needs some work, but it's yours if you want it. It's awesome. Of course, it probably needs new brakes, a muffler, and shocks. Don't forget to change the oil regularly. And you take some advice from your old grandpa. Go to Monroe. They're good people.
At Monroe, you get fair prices and only the repairs you need. If it ain't broke, we don't fix it.
You think your grandma and I could take it out for a spin now and then?
You gotta go Monroe.
The Crunch lead the Albany River Rats 1-0. A power play goal by Lonnie Bahanas at 4:03 of the first period. Jackson, Dubé, and Kessa the line for the Crunch. Puck comes out to center ice, and Armstrong breaks in on Fountain. Puck knocked away by Kessa, who was back checking on the play. Kessa out to center ice and Dubé, and it's broken up. Nemesnikov works the puck into the zone, and Armstrong looks to break out for Albany. He dumps it into the far side boards right out in front. And Kurt Renya, unable to get a stick on it. Now Coyne looks to clear on the near side. Dubé to center ice. Into the Albany zone, broken up by Brad Bombardier. Bombardier to center ice. He dumps it back into the Syracuse zone. Ralston chases. Gets it back. Looking for Pellerin in front. He goes down. And the puck comes free. Here's a 2-on-2. Working on the far side was Stoyanov, but he was bodied off the play. And now we have a whistle and a penalty. Your local Honda dealers are proud to sponsor the Syracuse Crunch.
I think play got a little ragged there for a shift or two, Doug. The kids are working out the bugs, but still exciting play. I think we missed that penalty down there as the Crunch entered the zone.
Stoyanov got hit, and I think he took offense to it, and he retaliated. So Stoyanov has been detected for a penalty. 2 minutes. It's a roughing penalty.
Here's the play now, Doug.
Right there.
They both had their sticks a little high.
Well, he was hit earlier by Helmer and then roughed him. Now back in the zone. Hulse. Hulse behind the net. McAlpine gets it out to Breland. Leon. Power play for Albany. Renier behind the net. Armstrong, and puck comes out to the blue line and out of the zone. McAlpine has it now for Albany. Tremblay, Jackson, Walker, and Tully on the ice, killing the penalty for the Crunch. Puck to Walker, and Walker clears it down the ice.
We haven't seen much of our penalty killing units, but there's a quick change. 4 players doing a good job.
Midway through the first period, 1-0 in favor of the Crunch. Power play for Albany, and we have 1 minute remaining in that. Dean to center ice. Ralston looking for Pellerin. Broken up by Philippek. Cleared to the near boards. Unable to keep it in is Helmer, and here come the Crunch. Jackson across the blue line. Wrist shot wide, goes into the corner. He's taken out of the play by Dean. Now Helmer dishes to the near side. Ralston to center ice. Over the blue line for the Crunch. Now Pellerin shoots. High shot. Glove save by Mike Fountain. And there's a stoppage of play. .26 seconds remaining in the penalty.
Hey, Syracuse Crunch fans, walk it up.
Now, was that a routine save, or that surprised Fountain a little bit?
I think that's routine for Mike. He was dropping down to his knees, and we don't know yet if he's a stand-up goalie or drop down, but he dropped down there, Doug. He still covers a lot of net at his size.
The puck was deflected and was rising up on Mike.
That one might have cleared the top of the net, but he's got a pretty quick glove hand. He'll catch anything comes near him.
Finalist in the Hockey News Minor League Player of the Year balloting from last year. Now Ralston faces off against Stevens, but Stevens has been bumped out of the face-off circle. So Brian Loney will come in. 22-year-old winger out of Winnipeg.
26 seconds on the penalty.
Helmer behind the net. And the River Rats have possession. Ralston tries to play the puck. Out to the slot is a shot stopped by Fountain. Dean to the far side. That's Pellerin. 2 seconds, 1 second. The penalty is over. Pellerin behind the net. Ralston. Face-off circle. Scores! Might have been screened.
I think he was screened, Doug, but they were just getting back into position, returning to full strength. I don't think that Mike Fountain was ready for that shot. Came from a tough angle and just hit one of his pads and dribbled in between his legs.
Here's the replay, and it squirted through. So it's a 1-1 hockey game with 8:49 remaining in the first period. Ryan Ralston's first goal of the season. Ralston was a U.S. Olympian and played in Albany last year. So it's a 1-1 hockey game. It was not a power play goal. The penalty to Stoyanov had expired. Now we're back to action. Girard out to center ice, and we have a whistle and another stoppage of play. And we've got another penalty coming up, and this time looks like a hooking call against Albany. You're listening to Syracuse Crunch Hockey on Central New York 9.
The 1994 Accord LX charmed the press. It surprised the competition. It won Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year. Now it's time for something more impressive. Introducing the Honda 94 Clearance Lease. Just $239 per month for 30 months. Timing is everything at your Honda dealer.
A $17 million renovation program has made the Onondaga County War Memorial a hockey paradise. And here's Armstrong now. Armstrong breaks out. Walker hustling back on defense. Breaks up the play. Kuznetsov pass to the far side. And that's Watton. Stevens now will look to pass the puck to Walker. Walker to Bahanas, played in the corner. Deflects away from Bahanas and is cleared off the surface. We have 8 minutes remaining in the first period. Nationwide Insurance and your local Nationwide agent are proud to sponsor the Crunch and bring hockey back to Syracuse.
It seems like Syracuse has spent a lot more time in the River Rat zone. The shots are surprising that the Crunch are being outshot 6-5 at this point in the game. It seems like they had a lot more shots. I guess a few went wide.
1-1 the score. Dubé back to Watton. Shot! Stopped by Dunham. And the River Rats clear into the Syracuse zone. Not icing, did not cross the goal line. The other end of the rink. Now Walker out to Jackson. Jackson with Kessa across the blue line. Jackson behind the net. Looks to center out. Drops for Kessa. Watton comes up to pin the play in. Jackson gets it knocked free. Helmer clears the far side. Still in the zone. And the puck is caught up in somebody's equipment.
We're seeing a pretty good hockey player in Jackson, who spent 25 games with Vancouver last year, so he's probably got as much NHL experience as anyone on the ice, and he's showing it.
Yannick Dubé is out there at center. Out of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, he played 64 games last year, 66 goals, 75 assists, 141 points to lead all scorers. And in 21 playoff games, he had 12 goals and 18 assists for 30 points. A 5th round draft pick in the '94 entry draft, and he really can fly. Kessa, Dubé, and Jackson, the forward line. Aucoin and Nemesnikov on the defense. Nemesnikov shoots it in, deflected away by Dunham. Played in the corner and out of the zone. Aucoin goes deep for the Crunch. 1-1 game. 13 minutes in. Puck off the skate of Kessa. Nemesnikov goes for it. And Aucoin breaks it up. River Rats now in possession. And they dump it to center ice. Jackson over the blue line to Dubé. Dubé tries to get it back to Jackson, and it's cleared out of the zone. Icing waved off. Aucoin has it. Nemesnikov on the near sidelines. Looks to pass it up to Dubé, but he was in a line change. Girard now on. Nemesnikov plays it out to center ice. 6:30 remaining in the first period. A 1-1 hockey game. Crunch and River Rats. Nemesnikov. Stick check by Rayom. Roney tries to play the puck. Gets it out to center ice, and Kessa. Kessa right wing. Into the zone. Bombardier to beat. Kessa behind the net. Looks to center in front. Broken up. And here come the River Rats.
There's several line changes going on here. I think the River Rats are trying to match up. That could have been Syracuse's best line with Kessa out there. And I think the Albany coach knows it.
Malcock to Breland, and Breland at center ice with Armstrong. Breland into the zone around Tully. Can't get by. Tully rides him hard into the boards. Puck centered out. Here come the Crunch 3-on-3. Trombley dumps it into the far corner. Girard skates for it with Hulse, and Hulse bodies him off the play. Now out to center ice and over the stick of Syracuse's Alex Stoyanov. Back behind the net. Filipek has it, and there's a whistle. And a penalty.
Just can't do that, Doug. A little interference or holding there. This is some of the things we'll see with the young rookies as they learn. Tully knows on that one, but he just didn't want to let him loose by himself.
So Tully with the holding penalty.
The play happens right out in front of the net where Tully just grabs a hold of the River Rats player and holds him until he falls. The referee skating right over the blue line couldn't miss that one.
That comes at 14:37.
A lot of excited hockey fans in here tonight. They haven't seen hockey this type for 14 years. It's exciting even up here in the broadcast booth.
Ralston back to Helmer. Helmer at the blue line. Shot high and wide. Ralston tries to play the puck. Dane Jackson tries to break it up, and we've got a whistle and a stoppage of play. 5:11 remaining in the first period. Syracuse Crunch 1 and the Albany River Rats 1.
I was watching a young man come out with those pucks tonight. He must have had 50 in a pail there of frozen pucks. So I guess they expect a few to jump over the boards tonight.
Loney, Watton, Jackson, and Walker, the penalty killers, in front of goalie Mike Fountain. Ralston gets it out to the point. Dean, the far side. Ralston right in front, deflected in. It looked like Mike Vukonich got a piece of that puck.
Vukonich was standing right by himself in front of that. He slipped behind the Crunch defense, and no one picked him up. Again, Mike Fountain just wasn't ready for this shot. He just spun around. It was right at his feet. Here he sneaks in behind the Crunch, just deflects it right in between Mike's legs. And that's an unfortunate goal, Doug. Just a mistake there.
Albany. Now we have a little action.
Here we go. Now the linesman will stand apart from these two fighters until they fall. No one else is allowed to join in here. They can swing as long as they want. As soon as one player touches the ice or they're in a lock holding each other, then we'll get it stopped.
This is Simpson and Stoyanov.
I think the referee will call for this to be broken up if they hang on too long. They get punching again. That's it. It's over.
Now Stoyanov is 6'4", 230. There's Alec. We're going to take a break. You're watching Syracuse Crunch Hockey on Central New York 9.
My store is my life. I've given it everything. To me, there's nothing else like it.
At Nationwide Insurance, we believe that every business is different. Each one has its own needs. You have to try.
They've helped me with my home and car insurance, so I knew we could develop a plan to protect my business.
The last thing Bob needs to worry about is insurance.
For auto and home insurance, business protection, life insurance, and investment options, call a professional Nationwide agent like Bob Keller in Liverpool.
Simpson and Stoyanov will each get 5-minute majors for fighting, and they head to their respective dressing rooms with 4:51 remaining in the first period. Albany leads 2-1. Watton dumps it into the zone. Bombardier out to center ice. Rayon. Now to Watton. And the Crunch try to clear. Bahanas watches it go to center ice, and there's a stoppage of play.
Looking at an ice surface here that's been put in brand new to the tune of about $1 million. And so far the Syracuse Crunch players think the ice is great. We'll have to talk to some of the Albany players between the first and second periods and see what they think of the surface.
Can't say enough about the transformation of the War Memorial.
It just looks wonderful.
Kuznetsov to Stevens across the Albany line, and the River Rats Bombardier out to Aliwa. Watton back for Syracuse. Sides are even. Bombardier dumps it in right on Fountain, and he covers up. Now Aliwa charges into Syracuse defenseman And they're getting a little feisty.
Again, we saw an example of a Albany player sneaking in behind the Crunch defense, and I'm sure Coach McElhargy won't be happy with some of those mistakes. It's also up to the goaltender found at that point if anybody sneaks in behind to alert his defenseman. This here you'll see a lot. You get a little pushing and shoving when the players get anywhere near the goaltender. It's up to the defenseman to push that player clear of them, and the opposing team usually don't like it, so you get the pushing and shoving.
Well, Walker gave a little shot to Rayom, and then Oliwa came over, and he did the same to Walker, and Oliwa and Walker are going to the penalty box. Both getting 2-minute minors. We have 4:19 remaining in the first period. Doug Logan along with Brian Elwell from the Onondaga County War Memorial, where Albany leads the Crunch 2-1.
As we come down near the last 2 minutes, it's like a cardinal sin in this game in the last 1.5 minutes. The last minute of any period, you never want to be scored on. So we'll have to watch this last wind-up of the period very closely.
Ladies and gentlemen, that Albany goal was scored by number 29, Mike Vukanich, with an assist to number 33.
They finally have announced that second goal, and it is Mike Vukanich on the deflection of Brian Ralston's shot. So Ralston and Vukanich have scored for Albany. Bahanas, the first goal of the night, scored for Syracuse. Now the sides, 4 each in front of their goalies. Coyne to Gerard, and he circles behind Nemesnikov. O'Coyne tries to dump it in. McAlpine breaks it up and tries to cut into the zone in front. And Ralston couldn't get a stick on it.
It's a puck that I think Mike Fountain should have come out and got before the Albany player got to it.
Pulse. Nemesnikov breaks into the zone, and there's a delayed offside. 3:48 remaining in the first period. Albany leads 2-1. That's a look at John Nemesnikov. He had 1 assist in the exhibition season. Played for Hamilton in the AHL last year. 59 games at 7 goals, 27 assists.
He has to enjoy this tonight, playing in front of well over 6,000 people. Most of their games in Hamilton last year were played between 1,500 and 2,000 people.
Nemesnikov, an interesting story. 6th-round draft pick from the Soviet Red Army team in '91. Played on the Soviet Union national team as well in '90 and '91 with Pavel Bure. Nemesnikov plays the puck. Hulse to Breland. Up to Ralston. He can't get a stick on it, and O'Coyne has it and wheels it out to center ice. McAlpine to Ralston, and Ralston works near side boards. Over to Hulse.
Something you don't practice this early in the year is playing 4-on-4, and when you lose your centerman or you lose one of your wingers, you're kind of not sure who's going to play where, and it's showing a little here in the ragged play right now.
Kessa into the Albany zone. Armstrong looks to dump it off to Helmer, and Helmer controls. Armstrong on the near side goes behind the net. Icing waved off when Fountain played the puck. Here come the Crunch now. Bahanas around Helmer, works into the corner. Ridden off the play. Dean comes in to help out. Puck centered in front, and unable to get a stick on it was Daryl Philippak. Helmer looks for Armstrong, dumps it into the Syracuse zone, and Tully plays it. Nemesnikov to Walker. Walker into the Albany zone. Bahanas in the corner, looks for Philippak, centers in front, and Kuznetsov was unable to handle the pass. Now it's cleared into the Albany bench. 2:01 remaining in the first period. 2-1 Albany.
Looking for fans with attitude. Show us your attitude and win attitude sunglasses from Empire Vision Centers and the Syracuse Crunch.
The ice seems to be holding up real well. That hasn't been tested like this since we put it in early in the summer. But I think it's holding up very well.
Stevens, Kuznetsov, and Bahanas, the forward line for the Crunch. Walker and Watton on defense. Fountain leaves it off. Watton plays it to the far boards, intercepted by Albany. Now Walker up to Stevens. Bahanas, Bombardier to beat, can't do it. Ridden off the play. Pellerin out to center ice. Bakonich. Drop pass. Bombardier tried to get a stick on it, couldn't do it. Now Watton for Syracuse. Try to get it to Stevens. Bakonich broken up. Stevens has a 2-on-3. Kuznetsov joining him. Stevens plays it wide. And to the far boards. Pellerin for Albany. Line change for Syracuse as Albany dumps the Crunch zone. 1 minute remaining in the first period. 2-1 Albany. Loney past the far boards, hustling in. Tremblay gets an effort on goal, blocked by Dunham, and it's cleared out to center ice.
You saw an example of Tremblay's speed there. He's one of the better skaters on this club.
Hulse, Rayom, O'Coin, shot! Might have surprised Dunham. Now behind the net, sent it out in front. Armstrong has it. He clears, and Renier works it up. Fountain behind the net. 18 seconds remaining in the first period. Here's a steal. Breland breaks in. Shot deflected by Nemesnikov. Behind the Syracuse net. Girard clears it around the dasher and out of the rink. 5 seconds remaining in the first period. And again, a little pushing and shoving. These teams testing each other physically?
Well, I think player by player testing each other a little bit here. You've got a lot of people have to gain the respect of the other team, and early in the season is the time to do it. You just, if you get a shove, you give a shove. You can't take anything from anybody this time.
5 seconds remaining in the first period. Another shove by Tremblay.
Still a little chatter going on there, Doug. They haven't stopped talking to each other.
Let's take a look at what we have planned for you during the first intermission. There is a boxing champion, Riddick Bowe. Looking forward to talking with Riddick between periods. He's in our intermission studio. Now Breland, 4 seconds remaining in the period. Tully clears it out of his zone. That's the end of the first period. 2-1. Albany leads Syracuse after 1 period of play. You're watching Syracuse Crunch Hockey on Central New York 9.
Thanks, and welcome to Recycle It or Trash It. You know, clean corrugated cardboard is now recyclable in Onondaga County households. Does that mean pizza boxes, recycle, or trash? If you said recycle, you're wrong. Food stains are yucky. And don't recycle flat cardboard, only corrugated cardboard. Just fold into 3-foot pieces and put it in your bin. Hey, remember, your groovy cardboard is now recyclable.
The United States steps in to return democracy to Haiti. More than 7,000 troops from Watertown's Fort Drum are dispatched to the Caribbean.
When you're driving down the road, you have the people come out and they start clapping. It feels like you're in a parade.
A look behind the scenes at this new mission.
We go where we're told. You know, it doesn't make much difference to us. We just go where we're told. That's what we're here for.
Assignment Haiti, Monday at 8:30 on Central New York 9.
There's only one place you'll find America's best-loved minivans. The one place with the widest selection in front-wheel drive minivans. The place for unsurpassed safety features. And where minivan value is the biggest. The one place, our place. The only place you'll find Plymouth Voyager, Plymouth Grand Voyager, and Chrysler Town & Country. The Minivan Store. At your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
The Syracuse Orangemen play host to the undefeated Hokies of Virginia Tech. See all the action of Syracuse University football live this Saturday at 3:30, right here on WIXT Central New York 9.
New on 9 News 11 at 11, the Crunch debut will wrap up the season opening game and the excitement surrounding it on 9 News 11 at 11.
We are between periods. The Syracuse Crunch inaugural game here at the Onondaga County War Memorial. A capacity crowd of 6,500 people packing the War Memorial, one of the hottest tickets in Syracuse in a long time. The score after one period of play, the Albany River Rats 2, the Syracuse Crunch 1. Tim Fox along with Doug Logan and Brian Elwell bring you this inaugural game. A terrific crowd, electricity here at the War Memorial. You couldn't ask for a more exciting scene than we've seen here. Hockey luminaries like Gordie Howe, boxing luminaries like Crunch owner, partial owner Riddick Bowe, and Doug Logan will be bringing you Riddick Bowe in just a moment here from the War Memorial. It has been a long time since he was played here professionally, about a dozen years since the last team here. This is the 5th trip to Syracuse for the American Hockey League. Syracuse, an inaugural team back in 1936 in the AHL. Let's send it now down to Doug Logan with the champ, Riddick Bowe. Doug?
We are at the first intermission of our hockey game in the Onondaga County War Memorial. It is 2-1 Albany, and it's our pleasure to talk with one of the investors in the Syracuse Crunch, former heavyweight champion of the world and future heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe. Riddick, you look really good in that Syracuse Crunch uniform.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Why the interest in the Crunch, Riddick?
Well, you know, I kind of felt like it was a good opportunity and something that we could, you know, build upon.
And what do you look to build upon? What are you looking for out of this?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a challenge, you know, starting from the bottom and so forth. And we thought this team here could, you know, give me another, you know, challenge, you know, so to speak.
You know, we saw you in a Syracuse Crunch uniform a few short weeks ago. Tell us about coming into the ring for your fight with the Crunch uniform.
Well, I thought you guys here would get a big kick out of it, and so I wore it, and I thought it would help the team out.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about where you are right now in your career?
Well, right now I'm starting to prepare for a fight against a fellow by the name of Larry Donalds. It would take place December 6th. I don't know the site yet, but it'll be televised by HBO. And hopefully sooner after that I can get one of them chump champs.
Now, you're training now then?
Right.
Where are you working out, and what are you trying to accomplish there?
Well, I want to get in great shape, first of all, and be at my best come December 6th for my opponent. We'll be training in New Orleans, Louisiana, with a great trainer by the name of Mackie Shieldstone.
Riddick, why don't you give us a little bit of an idea of how you see the heavyweight rank right now, and who, other than yourself, are the top contenders to the throne?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I think the heavyweight division is in, you know, very much turmoil. I think guys like myself and Evander Holyfield are the true champions, uncrowned champions, and I think given the opportunity to fight one of the champions, I think I'll be champ again.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do when you're not boxing? What gets you excited?
Nothing.
Really?
I pretty much stay with my wife and kids, and 9 times out of 10 I'm in the house. So, you know, I don't have a lot of hobbies or anything like that, except the Crunch team.
Well, tell us about the family.
Well, I have a wife. Her name is Judy. I have 4 kids: Riddick Jr., Rhodesia, Brenda, and Julius.
Where do you live?
Fort Washington, Maryland.
Were you born and raised in that area?
No, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I've moved to Fort Washington quite some time ago, 4 years ago.
All right, you saw the first period out there. How do your Syracuse Crunch look to you?
Well, they ain't down. They're down, but they're not out, and I think they're going to come back and win.
Well, you've been in that position before.
Certainly, certainly.
A lot of hitting out there. This team can play physically.
To be quite honest with you, this is actually my first game, and I didn't know that they can get so physical. I'm very surprised at that.
Oh, yeah, it's a contact sport, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Some of them guys should be fighters.
All right, well, your connection with Howard Dolgan, one more time, and the Crunch.
Well, Howard Golden, he did some PR work for me quite some time ago, and he just thought that this would be a great opportunity for me, so we formed a, you know, what can I say?
Well, you got a good partnership going here. You also had a chance to visit with some of the Syracuse public. What are your impressions of the town and the excitement that's generated by this hockey team?
Well, the town and the people, they're great. And if I didn't live in Fort Washington, I would move here.
All right. Riddick, thank you so much for coming by.
Okay.
Investor with the Syracuse Crunch, Riddick Bowe, with us here this evening at the Onondaga County War Memorial. All right, we'll be back with more. You're watching Syracuse Crunch Hockey on Central New York 9.
My store is my life. I've given it everything. To me, there's nothing else like it.
At Nationwide Insurance, we believe that every business is different. Each one has its own needs. You have to try
They've helped me with my home and car insurance, so I knew we could develop a plan to protect my business.
The last thing Bob needs to worry about is insurance.
For auto and home insurance, business protection, life insurance, and investment options, call a professional nationwide agent like Bill Ellithorpe in Camillus.
I switched to Norwich aspirin from Bayer for my headaches.
I switched to Norwich for my arthritis.
Switch to Norwich for 100% pure aspirin. Get all the relief at half the price.
That's why I switched to Norwich.
You're too busy for the discomfort of your period. Cramps, bloating, headache, water gain, you're not yourself. Advil and Tylenol only relieve pain. Do it right. Take multi-symptom Pamperin. Get yourself back together again. Multi-symptom Pamperin. Period relief, not just pain relief.
We're at the Onondaga County War Memorial in Syracuse, New York at the first intermission. Albany leads the Syracuse Crunch 2-1. I'm Doug Logan, and joining me during this intermission segment, Hockey Hall of Famer Gordie Howe, 32 years in hockey, the NHL and the WHA, over 1,000 goals. Congratulations, first of all, on behalf of all the fandom who love this great game of hockey.
Oh, that's for sure. I know, you know, a lot of funny things happen to you, and especially now the sport has gone coast to coast and as far south as Dallas. And get in an airplane and just fly along, and we start talking about our families. And this lady said, well, she has a young son who is playing for the AAA Yankee Club. And I said, well, we have something in common. I have a young man playing hockey in Detroit by the name of Mark. And she said, oh, hockey, I love it. When I was in Houston a few years back, she said this old fella come out play with his 2 kids.
Oh, really?
She said, I fell in love with the game. So, yes, you find that everywhere you go.
In your 32 years of professional hockey, Gordie, 7 of those played with your sons, Mark and Marty. How incredible.
Well, I think, again, if you do a favor, it'll come back. And Mrs. Howe is always promoting, always thinking about the fans. Particularly like last year, we did 65 city tour to say thank you to the fans, the volunteers, and to benefit charity. And what happened was she threw a game on for the March of Dimes, and I went out there and skated with the boys, and it was such a thrill. I said, wouldn't it be wonderful, surreal? So when I retired, I'd given up on that. But what happened was, along came the WHA, and my name got thrown in the hat along with Marty and Mark's, and they picked up the pieces, and my wife called me and said, I knew you wanted to play the minute of his men. She had a smile on your face from ear to ear, and it was one of the driving forces that gave me the energy at 43 years of age to come back.
You've always been a great ambassador of the game of hockey. Gordie, what brings you to Syracuse?
Well, my interest with Syracuse started with Steve Pesos. He's an invested interest in the club, and he said they wanted to promote it, and they wanted my expertise as far as the hockey and my name that's synonymous with hockey. So when he asked us to participate, of course we accepted. He's a great guy, and to be part of an exciting moment like tonight, it's a revamped building. They got the building looking great. They have excited young players, excited owners. You get all that going for you with a full house of excited fans. You can't go wrong. It's beautiful.
I may as well ask you for sure of your impressions of the first period.
Well, I shouldn't say this, but the ice conditions are not what I call favorable to the hockey player. The puck is not sliding as instant. If you watch the whole period, there's not one guy deked by anybody because the puck is very hard to control. Now I'm not knocking the building. This is very, very common in the first day where they have to adjust to the body heat of the fans, and then all that the fireworks and all the excitement and hoopla that goes on with the starting game. It's left to a very sweaty condition. It's like trying to run a speed race in sand. It's pretty hard to do.
Gordie, obviously the Syracuse Crunch opening their inaugural season, a huge story, but a big story internationally is the NHL lockout. And You know, back in the days of the original six, and when you were skating against Rocket Richard and the rest out there, did you ever dream that someday there'd be a lockout or a strike in the National Hockey League?
No, but you know, the pendulum has swung from here to there, and it's gone right over. I just hope, well, the situation they got now is a lose-lose situation. I just hope that cool heads will prevail. You got smart men at the head of both efforts. I think if they can get together and give a little and meet a medium of the road, and then everything will be fine again. Because that lose-lose situation, nobody's going to be in good shape, especially the fans. They should add the third loss because they're the losers too.
Gordy, again, congratulations on all you do. Thank you so much for coming to Syracuse and being part of our intermission. Hockey Hall of Famer Gordie Howe. 2-1. Albany leads Syracuse. We're between the first and second periods. You're listening to Syracuse Crunch Hockey on Central New York 9.
Number 33, Mark Homerton. At center, number 7, Richard Dublin. Right wing, number 24, Jerry Lowe.
Maybe your kid is the next Wayne Gretzky. Maybe he isn't. Until you know for sure, why not buy him some less expensive used equipment at Play It Again Sports?
It's a scary thing to lose your job. There are a lot of people that are scared but are beginning to take the next step. They have to take it in their careers. And as I've looked into it further, these people are actually sometimes providing that entrepreneurial edge, that energy that's needed to get some new small businesses started, and they've done it, and it is exciting. I've been investigating it, and they're hard to find, but I've found some, and they're fascinating stories to tell.
We're back at the Onondaga. We are back at the Onondaga County War Memorial with Doug Logan and Brian Elwell. The score after one period of play. The Syracuse Crunch trailing 2-1 to the Albany River Rats. We have a capacity crowd of about 6,500 people. There are people sitting on the stages here at the War Memorial trying to accommodate as many people as they possibly can. It calls to mind the glory days of the Syracuse Blazers of the NAHL here at the War Memorial when they twice reached 200,000 fans on the course of the season. They'd have to, the Crunch would have to get about 6,000 fans per game to reach that 200,000 mark. And as hot as this ticket for this first game is, that's not a bad bet. We are standing by to bring you the second period action. Here from the War Memorial to bring you that action, here's Doug Logan and Brian Elwell.
Period. Well, it was a very exciting first period of hockey with the Syracuse Crunch coming out very, very strong, as you might suspect. Lonnie Bahanas scored early in the contest to give the Crunch a 1-0 lead, but then penalties really affected play from there, and Albany took over, scoring 2 consecutive goals. So it's 2-1 Albany at the end of one period. You're watching Syracuse Crunch Hockey on Central New York 9.
When my doctor said to start exercising, I knew I wasn't 25 anymore. That's when I called Bill, my nationwide insurance agent.
Jim had some questions, so we did a nationwide care review. We talked about his financial plan, life insurance, disability coverage, even retirement.
And we covered everything.
It turns out Jim was okay just the way he was.
Insurance-wise, right?
Oh, right.
For auto and home insurance, business protection, life insurance, and investment options, call a professional nationwide agent like Tom Yurkevich in Syracuse.
Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party? We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started.
And after the game, stay tuned for 9 News with Rod Wood here on WIXT Central New York 9.
All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night. That's right.